so I do have a list of stories to talk about, so it's a good one to start with. This is one I read earlier. Hold on. All right, so this is from Ryan Dinsdale over at IGN. Starfield developer Bethesda is currently Bethesda's working on another mobile game. Starfield developer Bethesda is currently working on a new mobile game, though it's unclear which of its famous franchises it's based on. Speaking to Lex Friedman on the latest episode of his podcast, which there's actually, I guess there's just a YouTube channel to it. Whoop. Lex Friedman. I don't know who this is. All right, anyway. Speaking to Lex Friedman, I don't know how to pronounce his name. I apologize. Bethesda executive producer and Starfield director Todd Howard revealed that the Elder Scrolls and Fallout developer has another mobile game in the works. Talking about the conceptual differences between designing a console game versus one for mobile, Todd said plainly, quote, well, we've done a few things, and we have a new mobile game that we're working on that we haven't announced yet that I'm in love with. He didn't give anything else away regarding its genre, release date, and so on, but did allude that it would be a more in-depth experience rather than a game intended to be played in short bursts. He goes on to say, quote, We have found with our games, particularly Fallout Shelter, people will sit there for an hour or two. They will just sit there and play it. Large numbers of people will play it for hours a day. Fallout Shelter was released in 2015 as a construction and management simulation game where players take over a vault and expand it over time, but the developer hasn't done much else in the mobile arena since. I'm going to go ahead and pause there because they go on to say, actually, this is the last paragraph. I'll just go ahead and read it. It'll likely be a while before we hear more about this new game, as it hasn't been officially announced by Bethesda. Fallout Shelter was released around the same time as Fallout 4, however, so if it's a tie into Bethesda's space RPG Starfield, it'll perhaps be released around the same time next year. So, when did Fallout 4... Hold on. So Fallout 4 came out on November 10th, 2015. Fallout Shelter came out that same year on June 14th, 2015. My guess is if they... So looking at the two dates, what was Fallout 4? November 10th? Yeah, so Fallout 4 came out November 10th, 2015, and Fallout Shelter came out that June 14th, which was E3. My guess is that if they were to release a mobile game tie-in to Starfield, my guess it would maybe be announced at E3 and come out probably that same week. The thing is, and I'm just thinking about this now, Fallout was an established property for a long while at this point. At the point that Fallout Shelter came out, because the Fallout series has been around since 1997. The first game came out in 1997. So it's like that world and those sort of mechanics have been around since then. Obviously, you know, it changed throughout, or it changed throughout the series because, you know, new mechanics would be introduced in later later games. And the Fallout Shelter, I'm not super familiar with Fallout. Like, I know what it is. I never actually played any of the games. I played the fourth one, or I played Fallout 4 for all of like an hour or something. I made the mistake of doing that first what are those really big guys called? Deathclaws. I tried fighting that first Deathclaw in I don't fucking remember what it is, New Boston or something. No, not New Boston. Whatever that first town is in Fallout 4. Anyway, I didn't get the power armor like I was supposed to. Got confused and irritated by how difficult that fight was without it, and just kind of gave up and never went back to it. I think I should change that at some point and actually go back and play Fallout 4. Or just wait until Fallout 5 comes out in fucking 100 years. No, it'll probably be anywhere from like 7 to 10 years before we see Fallout 5. More than likely. Oh, maybe not quite that long. Let's see, Starfield's taking... Yeah, I'm not going to do the math right now. It's not that difficult, but I don't have like the release dates and stuff in front of me. So I'm not going to try to figure it out. But if this mobile game turns out to be related to Starfield, I went off on a huge tangent. What was I talking about? So, oh, I remember now. So Fallout Shelter was based on, whoops. Sorry, I keep bumping my microphone. So Fallout Shelter was a product of an existing IP. Starfield is a new IP. I feel like if the mobile game was based around Starfield, there isn't a core audience already for it. I mean, they'll have a target audience, but there's no fan base for Starfield, really. I mean, there's people who are fans of Bethesda and their series, and like there's that audience, but there's no like legitimate Starfield fan base yet because it's an IP that's new. Maybe it won't be a Starfield mobile game, or if it is, maybe it's a companion app that goes with Starfield, or maybe it's something that they're saving for after Starfield launches. I don't know. Now I'm kind of interested to find out what it is, because I know Fallout Shelter was cool, or people really liked that one, right? Did people like that? Fallout Shelter. Oh, it's a mobile game though. Hold on. Yeah, 6.6. Some people liked it. For the most part. Critical consensus was positive to mixed. Mostly mixed to positive. I like how there's literally just one negative review. Killscreen. Killscreen didn't like it. IGN liked it. Game Informer liked it. Eurogamer really liked it. GameSpeed really liked it. Is that Jeff? Oh, Evan. Evan Killam. Anyway. But yeah, I'm interested to see what this turns out to be. And of course, if you're watching this over on YouTube, let me know what you think about it. Do you think it's going to be a Starfield? Going to coincide with Starfield? Is it going to be a different mobile game? Is it going to be a mobile game for? Is it going to be a mobile game that's based on one of the other properties? Like Elder Scrolls, Fallout. Do they have another one? Or is it just Elder Scrolls and Fallout? There's Elder Scrolls. Oh, there's Dishonored. Wolfenstein. Oh, no, that's... Bethesda Game Studios is what we want. Starfield. Elder Scrolls. Fallout. Sorry, I'm looking at the Wikipedia backlog. Maybe it is just those. Fallout, Elder Scrolls. Oh, that's online. ZeniMax. Elder Scrolls. Bethesda. Fallout. Maybe it is just those two. I'm thinking specifically Bethesda Game Studios. When it comes to all their other studios, they have a lot. So they also have Obsidian, they've got id, they have Machine Games, they have Arcane, Avalanche. But anyway, I'm getting off topic. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Okay. Oh, highlight, so I know which ones are which. Going further on that news, there's an article from Games Radar. I might end up watching this actual interview too. This one's a little bit of a shorter article, and it's fucking riddled with ads. Hold on. So this is another takeaway from that interview. This is from here in Crier over at Games Radar. Todd Howard on Elder Scrolls 6. I wish it was soon. Which definitely makes it sound like it's not going to come anytime soon. But reading the article, Bethesda Game Studios' Todd Howard has commented on the wait for the Elder Scrolls 6. Earlier this week, Howard gave a relatively rare podcast interview. When asked about the potential update or release window for the Elder Scrolls 6, Howard replied with, quote, sorry, I need to figure out a way to switch this faster. Replied with, quote, I wish it was soon. I wish they didn't take as long as they did, but they do. Howard is obviously speaking to Bethesda's lengthy development cycle in this new interview. After releasing Skyrim in 2011, Bethesda wouldn't release another major game until Fallout 4 arrived 4 years later in 2015. Fallout 76 launched 3 years after that in 2018, and Starfield is currently slated to arrive 5 years after that, next year in 2023. And I'm going to pause there, because if this is talking about specifically Bethesda Game Studios and those major properties like Fallout and the Elder Scrolls, we're talking specifically Bethesda Game Studios, the main development studio, which I thought they had two, but maybe I'm wrong, because they have Bethesda Game Studios in Texas, right? Or no, are they in Boston? Where the hell is Bethesda Game Studios? Rockville, Maryland. No, that's Bethesda Softworks. Where's Bethesda Game Studios? Washington, D.C. Oh, Dallas, Texas. Oh, no, Austin and Dallas. And these are all Bethesda Game Studios locations. That's right. They do have one in Quebec. Austin and Dallas. Anyway, so that's four locations, but anyway, going back to this. I lost my spot. Hold on. So after releasing Skyrim in 2011, Fallout 4 arrived 4 years later. So Fallout 4, roughly 4 years to make after the launch of Skyrim. But there's definitely overlap between when Skyrim would have ended and when Fallout 4 would have started. But 4 years between the release is what I'm focusing on here. So Skyrim 2011, Fallout 4 2015, and then Fallout 76 in 2018, and then 5 years after that, Starfield. We might not be seeing, based on that, if Bethesda continues to work the way that they have been, we probably won't see Elder Scrolls 6 until between 2027 and 2029, maybe 2030 at the latest, but we don't know how big the Elder Scrolls 6 is going to be. It's still in pre-production. So who knows how far along that actually is. I'm excited for it. As excited as I can be for something that's a theoretical lifetime away. Or philosophical lifetime away. And my frame of mind there is that, my life 5 years ago was completely different from what it is now. And I imagine that by the time Elder Scrolls 6 comes out, my life is going to be completely different from what it is right now. But anyway, going back to the article, Howard continues, quote, "If I could go back in time, it would never have been my plan to wait as long as it's taken for it," Howard said of the wait between mainline Elder Scrolls games. "If The Elder Scrolls 6 ends up releasing 4 years after Starfield in 2027, which is a generous estimate, it'll have been 16 years since Skyrim, the last mainline Elder Scrolls game, first launched." A teaser for The Elder Scrolls 6 announced the sequel 4 years ago in 2018. Since then, we've received merely a smattering of updates on the game from Howard and company at Bethesda, who earlier this year hinted that The Elder Scrolls 6 was still in pre-production. Considering Bethesda's gearing up for Starfield's delayed release date next year, that's no surprise. So yeah, even in the article, Elder Scrolls 6 would come out in 2027 at the earliest. And what we know of what we should probably could expect from an Elder Scrolls 6 is 2027 probably isn't even a realistic date. But yeah, even Todd Howard was saying that he wished they didn't wait between. What did he say? "If I could go back in time, it would never have been my plan to wait as long as it's taken for it." Which means probably instead of working on Fallout 76 or Starfield or whatever, Elder Scrolls 6 would have come first and then moved on to whatever. Either way, I'm excited for Starfield, and I'm excited for whatever Elder Scrolls 6 ends up being later on down the road. But I don't think we should expect an Elder Scrolls 6 until 2028, 2029. Like, because game development is a lot harder now. It takes a lot more time and resources. And if Bethesda Game Studios isn't growing exponentially like the, I guess the workload of game development does, Elder Scrolls 6 is going to take significantly longer than Skyrim would have. So my prediction is that we won't see Elder Scrolls 6 announced until like an official announcement until like, and by official announcement I mean like a, what you would expect from like a teaser trailer or something, not the teaser of, hey, Fallout or Elder Scrolls 6 is happening at some point, but like a traditional teaser trailer, one that shows, the concept of the game, the location of the game, maybe some story stuff being teased, 2-3 years before the game officially launches, or less ideally. My guess is we probably will not see an announcement until maybe 2027, 2026 at the earliest. But somewhere between 2026 and 2028, I think, is when we'll start to see some teasers for the next Elder Scrolls game. And then maybe a release in 2028, 2029, 2030. God, that's so long away. Because it's almost 2023. Holy shit, that's such a long time. It feels like a long time, but that actually goes by pretty quickly. Anyway. I'm excited to see what it ends up being, but in the meantime, there's plenty of games to look forward to and to play until then. So I'll wait for it. Trying to see. I have a few other stories. 2 of them are kind of the same story. I guess there's more on this. So this is, whoops. Brendan Sinclair over at gamesindustry.biz report Microsoft to offer EU regulators concessions in Activision acquisition. Excuse me. The Xbox maker is ready to offer Sony a 10-year licensing deal to keep Call of Duty on PlayStation and get the deal approved. God damn, is that different from 3 years post-acquisition. A 10-year licensing deal. Anyway, let's get into the article. Whoop, I keep hitting the wrong buttons. Microsoft is preparing to offer European Union antitrust regulators some concessions in its Activision Blizzard acquisition to ensure the deal goes through, Reuters reported today. Original report was Reuters, I guess. An exclusive report. We won't go into the full report, but if you're watching live... Oops. I don't know what I just did. Anyway, if you're watching live, there's the original report. And if you're watching this on YouTube later, all the links to all these articles and extras will be in the description below. Anyway, a Reuters source said the primary remedy offered would be a 10-year licensing deal with Sony. The PlayStation maker has previously objected to the acquisition going through, saying the threat of Call of Duty being made exclusive to Microsoft's Xbox platform would negatively impact its console business and consumer choice. Earlier this year, Sony dismissed a Microsoft offer to ensure Call of Duty remains on PlayStation for 3 years beyond existing agreements, with PlayStation CEO Jim Ryan calling it, quote, inadequate on many levels. The European Commission has until January to formally spell out its concerns around the deal. January, that's like a month away. Stefani Dionetz, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. A partner at law firm McDermott, Will and Emery told Reuters that if Microsoft were to secure approval to go ahead with the deal in the EU, that could then be used to strengthen its argument in other areas where the deal is going through the regulatory process, such as the UK and the US. Last week, it was reported that the U.S. Federal Trade Commission was considering filing an antitrust lawsuit to block the deal, and the UK's Competition and Markets Authority last month spelled out a number of issues it had with the deal. Microsoft's proposed acquisition has been unconditionally approved by regulators in Brazil, Saudi Arabia, and Serbia. It sounds like this is, I guess, the sort of remedy to negotiate further with the antitrust regulators into approving this acquisition. This got a little bit. I say it gets a little bit messy, but by the sound of it, this is a pretty regular thing, or just a regular process that large mergers and acquisitions have to go through if there is a possible anti-competition or anti-competitive practices. So I guess it's just more to do with this acquisition. I don't really have a whole lot else to say, because I know the UK and the US, I think, what's the Federal Trade? Oh, the Federal Trade Commission, was considering filing an antitrust suit to block the deal, and I think we talked about that. Oh, I think we talked about that yesterday, because I was gone when the story actually came out. But I know that Microsoft's proposed acquisition went through in Brazil, Saudi Arabia, and Serbia. It still needs to go through the European Union, United Kingdom, the CMA, and the U.S. Federal Trade Commission. And I think, I don't know what this is going to do. I'm doing my best to understand all of this, but it's very complicated. It sounds like this 10-year licensing deal is to maybe win over Sony a little bit, which it won't, because Sony is still going to have to deal with that 10 years later once that license actually ends. But I think it's supposed to smooth things over with the European Union, and probably the FTC and the CMA as well. I guess time will tell if that works. I guess we'll see. But if anyone is watching this or listening to this that understands this a little bit more, like the legal aspect of it a little bit more than me, please comment in the video of this, or if you're hanging out in chat and you have any thoughts on it, let me know. Okay, let's look for maybe one more story. I had a few stories today. I did think this one was kind of cool. So this comes from Chris Kerr over at GameDeveloper.com. Sony launches PlayStation tournaments on PS5 to hype competitive play. PlayStation tournament. Oh my god, I can't talk today. I'm sorry. PlayStation Tournaments, a new feature that's being billed as a next-generation, quote, on-console competitive experience, unquote, has officially launched on PlayStation 5. Sony had spent the past 3 months beta testing the new feature, which it says will streamline competitive play thanks to shorter tournament times, seamless on-console sign-up, easily discoverable tournaments, an all-new UI, and real-time match updates. Which is quite a mouthful right there. Continuing. Cutting through the PR guff, that means game-specific tournaments will now be baked into the PS5 home screen, and will also be made accessible via the control center. A post on the PlayStation blog says, quote, scroll to the relevant game on your PS5 home screen and press the down directional button to see a list of upcoming tournaments. Alternatively, view available tournaments by launching the control center with a tap of the PS5 button while playing a supported game. And if you want to see the full, if you want to see a full thing, if you're hanging out in chat, there's a link to the PlayStation blog. If you're watching this on YouTube, it'll be in the description as usual. Continuing. Despite what the name suggests, PlayStation Tournaments is less focused on hardcore esports and more intent on offering PS5 owners a quick and approachable way to dive into competitive play and supported games to climb leaderboards, complete challenges, and win prizes. The post continues saying, quote, I'll just bring it over. Saying, quote, the brand new tournament UI utilizes the activity card framework to let you easily view tournament information. Notifications will automatically carry you through the experience, and you'll be alerted when your next match is starting. The tournament can be launched from the notification, giving you time to train up in-game, or even play other titles between matches. Continuing. Prizes can range from cash, in-game currency, PlayStation consoles, or accessories, experiences, and even special collectibles received just for taking part. Competing players will also be able to view automatic and real-time results after registering for a tournament, while the status of the full tournament bracket, as shown below, will also be viewable via the tournament card at any time. And there's a screenshot of it right here. The first PlayStation tournaments will span titles including Guilty Gear Strive, FIFA 23, and NBA 2K23. This looks so cool. Like, I just read it. I read this article quickly earlier today. And now that I'm actually, like, seeing it and kind of going over it again, this sounds really cool. I don't play any of these games, but I'm kind of interested to see what other PlayStation games end up utilizing this. And it sounds like it's not even PlayStation first party titles, because you've got FIFA and NBA 2K. And I don't know what Guilty Gear is. I recognize the name, but I don't actually know what who makes it. But either way, I think this is cool. Plus the fact that you can, like it says right here. Whoops, I keep hitting the wrong button. Prizes can range from cash, in-game currency, PlayStation consoles or accessories, experiences, and even special collectibles received just for taking part. So you can win cash, in-game currency, PlayStation consoles. Like, it's more than just for ego or reputation, but you can actually, like, win cash, in-game stuff, consoles, accessories. I love how I just basically just read off that list 3 times. But you get what I mean. There's not really anything extra to say. You can win shit. That's the thing that I'm drawing towards here. I think this is cool. If you're watching this on YouTube, what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments what you think. If anyone in chat has anything to add to that, like, what do you think? Is it something that you think you would use? Is there any specific games that you would want to see utilize this? Rocket League for me, Fortnite are two games that I definitely could see utilizing that. That I would where I would actually use it, because those are like the only two games that I play at a competitive level. But anyway, I think that looks cool. I don't really have any other stuff. I do have another story, but I don't really have anything to add to it. There's really not much here. But the article, I'm just going to read the tagline here. Wildlife confirms layoffs described as massive. Report suggests as many as 300 staff could be affected by move to cancel all non-mobile game work. It just sounds like they're changing their business a little bit. It sucks that layoffs have to happen in order to do it, but it could be a worse situation, I guess. We are grateful to the team members that have helped us get to where we are, and we are working to help them find new opportunities. I would hope that if they laid off a bunch of their workers in order to shift priority, that they would do everything that they can to make sure that those workers land on their feet. But yeah, there really isn't that much to add to that. As far as what I know about that. So, but anyway, I don't really have anything else. Trying to see. James Gunn confirms future DC games will be connected. Yada yada yada. Microsoft pitches 10-year licensing deal. Oh, we just read that. Never mind. We don't need to. Australia introduces new build age gate loot boxes. There really isn't a whole lot on that. But anyway. Cool. All right. I think we are going to end the news segment there, because that's all the stories I had that I wanted to talk about. But if you're watching this on YouTube, let me know what you think about the stories. If you have any questions or things to add to that, let me know those in the comments. Below. Links, of course, are in the description below if you're watching this over on YouTube. If you are on YouTube and you enjoyed this video, leave a like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell so that you know when the next video drops. Or you can hang out and watch live over at twitch.tv/BigSliceGaming.